So, this is from the BBC.com. Sometimes on, I like to peruse BBC and other stuff. Just because sometimes it's nice to get, like, just the non-American perspective on how fucked up our shit is, right? So check this one out. U.S. doctors forced to ration as cancer drug shortages hit nationwide. So, cancer's on the rise. Why is that? Well, the food industry that's controlled by pretty much 8 companies control 90% of our food. And they put poison in the food. Did you know this? Almost 90 to 95% of the food supply is poisoned. They put drugs in the food that literally destroy your liver. 20% of children in the United States have fatty liver disease, which is fatal if untreated. Fatal. 1 in 5 kids have a fatal disease, right? Kids are forming diabetes, type 2 diabetes, as young as 10, right? So the food industry is poisoning us, giving us cancer. Not just the food industry. We got chemicals leaching into the air, leaching into the water. The water infrastructure in the United States is giving people cancer with these chemicals, the lead, all this stuff, heavy metals. Right now we're seeing the wildfire smoke going on all across the country. I got my fucking, like, little purifier right there. I don't know if anyone can see that or hear it, by the way. It's a little loud. So again, we are all being poisoned. Cancer is on the rise. And now, the one good thing about cancer treatment is that we know how to treat cancer relatively effectively. Well, until the drug shortage. Ah! Right, so let's read. Just a day before... Okay, Tony D. Zametz, a 55-year-old retired law enforcement officer. Okay, I mean, retired. Okay. I'm not necessarily going to say I hope the cancer wins. They are retired, right? So, I mean, I don't know the mechanism or the whys on why they retired, but they are retired, so I'll hold back my pro-cancer argument here. She has already undergone several rounds of chemotherapy when her doctor told her she had some more bad news. Just the day before her 3rd round of treatment last month, Miss Desamitz, whatever, was told there was a nationwide shortage of the generic chemotherapy drug carboplatin, one of the 3 medications she was meant to receive. Forced to choose between going without the medication or swapping it for another with stronger side effects, the North Carolina native is finishing her final 3 chemotherapy sessions with only 2 of the recommended drugs. Quote, "You have these 2 suboptimal choices," she said. "I'm worried because I know the drug I'm not getting is the one my cancer responded to very well the first time." Now, why is there a shortage? Well, let's see what the BBC has to say. Experts say the U.S. is currently suffering one of the most severe shortages of chemotherapy drugs it's seen for 3 decades. Miss Desamitz is one of as many as 100,000 patients who may have been affected over the past several months, according to Dr. Julie Garelo, the chief medical blah, blah, blah. As of this week, the U.S. FDA said over 130 drugs were in short supply, 14 of which are cancer treatments. Experts say a myriad of factors have contributed to the shortages, which this time have heavily affected 2 frontline therapies, carboplatin and cisplatin. Oh, what is that? Cisplatin? Cis? As we all know, cis is a slur, so I'm glad that there's a shortage and that this drug was canceled. I wouldn't want to take a drug called cis. Jesus. They're putting the woke medical language in the fucking... I'm sorry. Anyway, the most recent shortage came after a plant in India, which supplied cisplatin materials for all U.S. manufacturers, shut down due to quality concerns. How does a plant shut down? I mean, a plant, not a biological plant, okay? Okay. This drove up the demand for the substitute drug carboplatin, said Dr. Grallo. All right. As a result, some providers have been forced to extend the time period between patients' chemotherapy sessions, while some patients have had to drive several hours to get treatment at different cancer centers. Centuries, I should say. But let's find out another reason The low cost of generic frontline cancer drugs has actually played a role in recurrent chemotherapy drug shortages, experts say. Pay attention. While the medications are cheap to manufacture, pharmaceutical companies are not incentivized to do so because they do not bring in large profits. The drug shortage issue has also worsened as U.S. life expectancy has increased. Now, again, it's decreased over the last couple years, but we're talking over a 20, 30-year time span, meaning more people are becoming ill with cancer. That's the main reason. Now, again, they're going to bury this past one of the jumps here with this photo. But this is the main reason. They don't make enough money treating cancer anymore. Have fun dying. Now, I talk about Christianity being a cult on my show a lot. But an even more, well, maybe just as dangerous cult is the cult of capitalism. Capitalism is a religion. It relies on magical thinking. The idea that the free market is going to produce the best results. Now, a lot of copists, right, people that believe in capitalism but understand that our society is failing, even though we live under capitalism, they love to cope by saying, well, the government is actually anti-capitalist because they weigh in on things and give subsidies. But what is the government but for a capitalist company? What is the U.S. government? It's a corporation, right? That the sole purpose of this corporation is to juice profits. That's why you look at the fucking military-industrial complex, the pharmaceutical-industrial complex. The government is a corporation. They act as a corporation. So you see a lot of these anarcho-capitalist kind of motherfuckers. That's an oxymoron. It doesn't make any sense. Emphasis on moron, by the way. That think that the government needs to be abolished, and that if the government were abolished, that there just wouldn't be another government to pop up. Because what is a government? A government is a corporation that just has a monopoly on violence, right? So the government goes away. We live in an anarcho-capitalist world. What replaces it? A gang, right? And what does that gang do? They use guns, weapons, and violence to put other people into submission. And then they start making rules. And you know what that is? Sounds a lot like a motherfucking government. So, as far as I'm concerned, we live in an anarcho-capitalist society. If that's something you want to pretend even is a real thing, the idea that you can have anarchy, or rather anarchism and capitalism, they're fundamentally incompatible. They are on the opposite side of the spectrum, right? It is just impossible. But for all intents and purposes, we are living in an anarcho-capitalist libertarian society. If the government disappeared, what would replace it? Another government. Except the government that would replace it would probably be a lot more violent. And so again, if you are a libertarian, you believe in any of this capitalist garbage, you are just as stupid as the Jesus freaks. You're just as stupid as the Muhammad freaks. You're just as stupid as the Abraham freaks. I don't know what to tell you. Your religion is just a different type of religion. And then you have some people that double dip. They believe in Jesus and capitalism. Holy fucking Christ! Wow, I mean, talk about a cocktail of cringe. But anyway, why is there a cancer drug shortage? Well, it's too cheap to treat cancer, so we gotta kill a little bit of people and juice our numbers a little bit. All hail the free market. All hail the free market. All hail the invisible hand. The invisible hand is the analog to Jesus Christ. Some theoretical, magical force that's somehow gonna make everything happen. You know when you hear people say, God has a plan? God has a plan. That's the same shit as the invisible hand. The invisible hand! Woo! God has a plan. You can't get cancer treatment, but that's okay, because it's the invisible hand. Whoa! It's a stupid fucking bunch of garbage, but hey, what are you gonna do? It's America.